When at last the moment arrived, the Sith Lord Scourge escorted his Jedi companions to the Imperial Citadel, hoping they might reach the throne room to assassinate the Emperor. Yet the plan was hindered when the guard Yari recognized Revan as the man they captured years earlier. Their identities exposed, a great battle erupted, with Mitra Surik and Scourge remaining to engage the guards, while Revan burst into the throne room, attacking the Emperor with all his might. To Vitiate's astonishment, the former Jedi and Sith Lord proved a challenging opponent, absorbing, blocking, and deflecting blows, while also going on the offensive with powerful energy blasts from both the light and dark sides of the Force. Yet in the end, Vitiate overcame his enemy with a terrible lightning storm, which would have ended the battle if not for Revan's faithful droid, T3M4, who unleashed his flamethrower against the Emperor. Although T3 succeeded in distracting the enemy and saving his master, it cost the droid his life as Vitiate destroyed him immediately. Having finished defeating the guards, Revan's allies rushed into the room where the three prepared to charge against the Emperor. Yet it was in this moment that Scourge, for the first time in his life, was struck by a Force vision seeing far into the future when another Jedi, not Revan, would land the final blow against Vitiate. Even before this vision, Scourge was already starting to doubt Revan and Mitra as he learned more about their ideas and personalities. Although Revan channeled both the light and dark sides, Scourge recognized that his fundamental nature was self-sacrificing and therefore more in line with the light side. His worries were then amplified during the battle when Mitra Surik ran into the throne room and threw her lightsaber at the Emperor's hand in order to stop him from landing a killing blow against Revan. Scourge saw this as a fatal error, since Mitra could have thrown the lightsaber directly at Vitiate to end his life, but did not do so because she was unwilling to sacrifice Revan in the process. With his doubts confirmed by the vision, Scourge understood their mission was doomed to failure, and so sought a way to survive this ordeal, thereby leaving him available to help this future hero against the Emperor. Therefore, when Mitra stepped forward, Scourge stepped to the side and stabbed her through the back, killing her instantly. Taking advantage of this distraction, Vitiate unleashed another lightning storm to subdue Revan before taking him to Maelstrom Prison, where he was kept alive through machines and Sith alchemy. Scourge, meanwhile, claimed he only pretended to join the assassins so he could lure them to the Emperor, who was the only one powerful enough to defeat Revan. Satisfied with this response, Vitiate rewarded Scourge with the gift of immortality and granted him the position of Emperor's Wrath. Yet eternal life came at a heavy cost, as it was achieved through a dark side ritual which kept Scourge's body in a state of constant and unending pain, though the Emperor claimed he would eventually grow numb to this suffering. For 300 years, Revan was imprisoned, tortured savagely, and used as a source of information and Force energy, in addition to acting as a link to the light side, granting the Emperor visions of the future. Yet throughout the many years of torment, Revan was comforted and supported by the Force ghost of Mitra Surik, who remained by his side even after death. With her help, and through his own immense powers, Revan was able to reverse the mental connection, allowing him to influence the Emperor's mind and delay the invasion of the Republic for centuries. In this way, and in spite of defeat, Revan succeeded in accomplishing his primary objective by ensuring that both his wife and son lived out their lives in peace. While few knew the truth about Revan's ultimate fate, his extraordinary life made him a legend throughout the galaxy, with tales of his adventures spreading far and wide throughout his 3 centuries in captivity. Although he was remembered by many, there were some who came to worship him and his teachings, like the Ongri of Nar Shaddaa, who were entrusted by Revan to safeguard the Infinite Engine, a small piece of the Starforge capable of absorbing matter and manipulating energy in order to create anything the user wanted, including air, food, water, and shelter. There was also the Order of Revan, a secret society based on the Sith capital of Dromund Kaas, where they trained in both the light and dark sides of the Force. The Emperor, meanwhile, continued to grow his power, discovering a dark side ritual called essence transfer, which allowed him to abandon his physical form in favor of moving his consciousness through various host bodies, discarding them when they grew weak from dark side corruption. Putting this into practice, each body he inhabited became known as the Emperor's voice. Yet even with all his powers and abilities, Vitiate grew increasingly unsatisfied with life as a Sith Emperor, seeing past their petty dogma and doctrine to understand the true potential of the Force went far beyond the light and dark sides. He then found an opportunity to test out his new ideas when he learned about an ancient armada known as the Eternal Fleet, consisting of automated ships wreaking havoc in wild space. Leaving a part of himself behind to control the Sith Empire through the Emperor's voice, his consciousness went in search of the Eternal Fleet, which eventually led him to the unknown regions and the planet of Zakuul. Taking over the body of a warrior named Valkorion, he used the fleet to create a new superpower built without the constraints of Jedi and Sith philosophies. Ruling as an immortal emperor, he founded the Eternal Empire, where he trained the Knights of Zakuul as a new class of warriors wielding lightsaber pikes, who saw the Force as a practical tool for justice and nothing more, using them as a police and military force. In this way, the being once known as Vitiate now ruled over the Sith and Eternal Empires, splitting his attention between both. Though Revan succeeded in delaying the invasion of the Republic for 3 centuries, the Emperor eventually went through with his plans, initiating the Great Galactic War in 3681 BBY. Yet to his grave disappointment, the Sith Empire was unable to win a quick victory, leading to a 28-year war that only ended because Revan's continued influence encouraged a cessation of hostilities. Yet even so, the Emperor was determined to negotiate from a position of strength, and so in 3653 BBY, while Sith representatives met with Republic officials on Alderaan, Imperial forces invaded and sacked the enemy capital of Coruscant. As news of this conquest made its way to Alderaan, the Republic delegation felt they had no choice but to surrender, allowing the victorious Empire to dictate terms for the Treaty of Coruscant. Yet even after suffering a humiliating defeat, resulting in a number of territorial concessions for the Republic, the galaxy was still divided between the two powers, leading to several years of tense Cold War. Despite winning the conflict and ruling over 2 great superpowers, the Emperor's focus eventually evolved beyond galactic conquest, as he proved ever more eager for power and terrified of death. Therefore, his ultimate goal was to perform a final dark side ritual with the aim of eliminating all life in the galaxy, leaving him as a truly immortal being, alone and unchallenged in the vastness of space. However, his greater desires were tempered and restrained by the hero Revan, who continued to endure terrible suffering as a prisoner in order to maintain his mental connection and influence over the Emperor. Yet after 3 centuries of pain and torment, his body could endure no more and would soon wither away, leaving the Emperor free to pursue his evil plans. Seeing the end drawing near for her beloved mentor, the spirit of Mitra Surik departed for a time in order to seek out Jedi Master Oteg of the Republic, who she convinced to organize a strike team that might rescue Revan and save his life. Though the former Jedi and Sith Lord was horrified to learn he was free, as this meant his influence over the Emperor was at an end, the spirit of Mitra explained that his strength was failing, and now at least he could rejoin the fight to defeat their enemy once and for all. Love Star Wars? Then why not check out Audible, where they have the largest collection of audiobooks available. Sign up now and get a free audiobook along with 2 Audible originals, or else give the gift of membership to someone you know. If you prefer to read your stories, then click on the link to the Kindle Unlimited plan and get access to as many ebooks as you wish. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the Star Wars Old Republic series, including Book 3, exploring the life of the hero Revan after the Jedi Civil War. A special thanks to all those who contribute to Civilization X, like Sith Ben24, Barachado, Commander Pete J. King, and Lelo Senpai the Wanderer. If you'd like to help the channel, you can sign up for membership through the YouTube join button, buy merchandise from the store page, or else go to patreon.com/civilizationx, where you can get early access to videos, vote on future content, and access the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.